to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Informant.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?
Difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you? You know you done fucked up.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's get into it. Now, for those of you who follow the backup channel, I will be going live on there probably at about 11:30. I'm going to post the link after this broadcast. But we have to talk about Trump being found guilty. We also have to talk about this teacher, this former teacher, who did an OnlyFans video at the school, an elementary school, okay, with children present. Okay, please. Bust it wide open. We got to talk about it. All right, so please stay tuned. Now, with that all being said, everyone please get those likes up. You all know how it goes down in these YouTube streets. Okay, don't forget to like and share. Now, let's see who's in here. Andrea, Re-Educated Soul, Jet Black, Latasha, Mr. Elevation said with the Queen receipts. Hold on, this chat's moving. With the Queen receipts, who needs the fact checkers or that nefarious fake wig too? Okay, I know that's right. Claudette, Lillian X is here. All right, so I was looking for you yesterday on the news, Queen. You talking about with Donald Trump, honey, you know, after I go live, I don't try to come back on here. Sometimes I will, but you know how that goes. Y'all know the Queen is booked and busy, honey. I have stuff to do outside the screw too. All right, Kojima in the house, Dervis, Timber Dance at Clinton Nefarious. I know that's right. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Neon Black in the house, DJ Big Six. All right, let's get into it. Re-Educated Soul, Pearly, Bithia is here. All right. Pensy Lotus at Queen Undefeated. Thank you, beloved. Nessie X, Jeff ATL, Priscilla, Courtney J, Juju is in the house. Bronze Flat Power God, Nessa G, Deronda. All right, Bookhorse DC, I see you. Darnell, let's get into it. Latasha, G from the land. That Crazy Bitch Aries. All right, Michael McDougal, I see you in here. Let's get into it. Everyone, please get the lights up. Thank you in advance. All right, above all that drama. So honey, Diddy is in a whole bunch of trouble, as we already know, and it's looking pretty grim, okay? Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, one of his former bodyguards said that he would see Diddy bringing these strange men into the hotel rooms with he and Cassie. And so let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to put an overlay up here. Before I talk about, actually, before I get into what the former bodyguard said, let's talk about Diddy's former attorney, okay? What he had to say, as well as the hip-hop police. All right, here we go. All right, there it is. There it is. Now, let me get my overlay real quick.
Now, let's bring in former attorney for Sean Combs, Mark Garagos, and former FBI agent Stuart Kaplan. It's good to have you both, gentlemen. Stu, you're sending subpoenas to his cell phone company, the people who gives him the jet, some commercial airlines that he's been on. What is this about capturing? And why did it come after the raid, not before it?
Well, so to your latter point is there was an investigative assessment clearly that realized that the issuance of these grand jury subpoenas would not be kept confidential. They were concerned about them being leaked, and that the target of their investigation would then be able to utilize that information to perhaps delete or destroy or remove evidence. And so it was the proper call, especially when you have a high-profile individual entertainer like this.
Now, please pay attention. Please pay attention, because I told you all this first. You heard it here first. I told you all. That's why they did everything under the cover of darkness. They didn't want Diddy finding out. They didn't want him trying to flee. They didn't want him to be tipped off, basically. So what they did was the subpoenas were issued simultaneously on the same day as the raids. All right, let's get back into it.
And so that's why in the normal course, after a search warrant, now that the world knows that he's a target of a criminal investigation, it would make more sense.
I accept Stu's explanation as plausible, but Mark, you know, I've been learning at your lap for decades, and usually the big raid is like the finale of when they're going in hot and heavy. Here, it didn't go that way.
Now, let me tell you all something else right here. I'm not going to keep interrupting, but I do want to tell you all, I want to remind you that the Queen also told you this. Okay, I told you guys that usually when there is a raid of such magnitude, there is usually an arrest on the same day as the raid. And in this case, we didn't see that happen. And why didn't we see this happen? Because I also told you that because of the high profile of Diddy and all the things that all of these allegations against him, they want to move very carefully and make sure they have the proper information. Okay, and that they have all of their ducks in a row. All right, and that can sometimes take weeks or months. Okay, let's get back into it.
Do you think it's just subjective choice by this particular investigative team, or does it raise questions for you?
No, it raises questions. I think clearly your guest is right that they don't want to tip off that they're going in, and that's why normally I often see it, that they'll issue the subpoenas right as they're executing the search warrant, almost simultaneously, especially when you have this kind of a presence. The thing that I've been highlighting about this is this seems awfully quick for a federal investigation. It's almost warp speed. And I do want to comment, even though it was on your cryon down below, when you were talking about 50 Cent's ex, she came out today and she specifically denied that any of this was true. And I think that also goes to your other guest who was talking about, you know, you can bury these things in there and they just become kind of urban legend almost immediately. And so I think that some of these claims already are demonstrably false. And I think that if the feds are using one or both of these lawsuits as kind of a roadmap, I think that they're running those to ground and they're finding out quickly a lot of this stuff may not be true.
What's the chance, Stu, that the feds could get misled because of all this intrigue within the hip-hop world and these civil suits that seem to be a trail of breadcrumbs, but really they're more about money than truth?
Well, I know from my own experience, Chris, and to Mark's point, it's not unusual that there's a civil suit that comes to the attention of law enforcement. And just as Mark said, it may be used as a roadmap. But Mark I would imagine, would agree with me that notwithstanding these complaints, meaning these civil lawsuits that were published many, many months ago, in order to convince a sitting magistrate to issue a search warrant based upon a finding who swears out that there is probable cause to believe that the fruits of some criminal enterprise or some crime may be found in someone's house, you have to have credible, ripe information. That means that there's got to be some fresh information. Usually the courts require within 30 days. That's something new, something that has been corroborated. Right. It would be impossible that the magistrate, the judge who signed off on this search warrant, would have just had the information contained in a civil court complaint. There's something more that came to light. It's probably an informant or a victim. Right. And that is why you're seeing, as Mark said, warp speed with respect to them moving quickly on this.
Well, let me say this also, beloveds. You should also remember that I told you this as well, okay? Now, I told you that no sitting judge or judges, because remember, there were 3 warrants, 3 raids. There was one in Miami, one in Los Angeles. Now, they also said there was one in New York, but they never really mentioned that one. But we'll just go with Los Angeles and Miami. I told you all that for judges to sign off on these raids to occur, they had to have more information. It doesn't just go by these lawsuits. This is deeper than the lawsuits. Now, you all remember I told you that, and at the end of the day, he said that it had to be an informant or a new victim. Well, I'm here to tell you that it was an informant, okay? It was absolutely an informant. You see, if it were a new victim, we would have heard about that in the media. There would have been another lawsuit filed, and we would have be privy to that information. So with that all being said, it was clearly an informant, okay? So please pay attention. And probably someone that sat and smiled in Diddy's face, nonetheless.
I hope they do go quickly. I know the expression that, justice delayed is justice denied, but also haste makes waste, right? 2 things can be true at once. But I will tell you, and I say the same thing about the mayor of New York City, Adams. When you make a big show like this in public, you wreck people. You wreck their reputation. And I really do believe there should be something quickly in the form of confirming why this person's reputation was trashed the way it was. Because, Stu, as we both know, the media wasn't a secret what they were doing at Diddy's homes, right? They were well positioned for it, so somebody had told them. So let's see what happens next. And I can tell you, Garagos is not a huge fan of the standards you need to get a search warrant, but your points are well received. And we'll continue the conversation when we learn more. Stuart Kaplan, appreciate you stepping in. Mark Garagos, as always, appreciate you. Hey.
Now, here's what I want you all to pay attention to. Now, I want you all to pay attention to the fact that Chris Cuomo was talking about the standard for the search warrants and the media and all of that. Well, of course, he's going to feel that way. Remember, the media had a whole field day with him when he had allegations. Do you all remember that? I reported on it heavily. So that all been said, yes, he's not a fan of these things at the end of the day. But the bottom line is Diddy, you see, here's the thing. Diddy was so arrogant. And if Rodney Jones's allegations are true, the one where he said Diddy was bragging to him about certain things, where he said Diddy bragged about the incident that happened in 1999 at the club, if he was telling the truth about J-Lo passing him the gun from her purse, if he was telling the truth about these shell companies and all of that, which I'm going to get back into that in a second. Well, if he was telling the truth about all of these things, that just goes to show that Diddy's arrogance, his own arrogance, is his undoing. You know, I told you pride goes before the fall. And so if Diddy was in fact bragging about these things to Rodney Jones, this is some of the reason why he's in this predicament. Okay? Because he pretty much exposed, if those things are true, then he pretty much exposed his own money laundering. Okay? He pretty much exposed himself. All right? Please pay attention. All right. And then Jamal said that will still be hearsay. Well, it's hearsay, beloved, until proven. Okay? It's hearsay until proven. Yes, if you don't have any evidence, of course it's hearsay, and we all know that hearsay is not admissible in any court of law. Okay? That's just talking gossip and rumors and innuendo. But what I'm saying is the things that Rodney alleges can absolutely be proven. Okay? Because let's not forget he allegedly has hours of video recordings. And in fact, I came across the recording for Christian Combs. Remember, I read you all the transcripts, but I actually came across the recordings. I'll have to get those receipts. I just have so many receipts, I can't keep track sometimes. But we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. But here's the thing. These things that Rodney Jones is alleging, if they can be corroborated, if they can be proven with evidence that he claims that he has, then it's no longer hearsay. Okay? And that's the thing. You have to be careful because a lot of people will put out information as if it's true and factual, when in fact it's nothing but hearsay. That's just like months ago, someone lied and said, and I won't call their name, fake Nancy Drew, lied and said that Jonathan Oddie was dead. She did a whole report on it, only to come back a couple of months later and say that he's one of the star witnesses and that he's been hidden by the feds. I find it all interesting and clear and nefarious. You know, so that's why it's always good to have receipts, not just to be saying things, okay? So my point is, if these things are true that Rodney has alleged, then Diddy is the reason for his own undoing by running his mouth out of arrogance. And here's the thing. Diddy likely thought that he could brag and say whatever he wanted because he's been in the habit, you see, of paying his witnesses off. You see, remember how they alleged that he paid people to lie on Shine, that he paid witnesses to come in there and testify against Shine and put all the blame on him and not Diddy? Remember how he was able to do that? You see, in this case, he won't be able to do that. He won't be able to barter with witnesses. He won't be able to pay them off. He won't be able to intimidate them and hold their careers or anything else over their heads. You see, Cassie and Rodney Jones will be the star witnesses for the prosecution. And in fact, all of these people that have filed lawsuits against him will, in fact, be the witnesses. Okay? So he's not going to be able to pay them off. He'll pay them in those civil lawsuits they filed when he loses, the ones that he hasn't already settled, like Cassie's. But at the end of the day, he won't be able to buy their silence any longer. Diddy is about to be R. Kelly, as I told you all months ago. All right, that's just what it is. Now let's talk about why he has these money laundering charges and how his mother, Miss Janice Combs, could be charged also. I want you all to pay attention because it's all nefarious. All right, now let's talk about the lawsuit filing by Rodney Jones. Let's revisit that. Lights up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm pulling up the lawsuit, so give me just a second. Now, here's the thing. According to Rodney Jones's accusations, he said Mr. Combs could also, hold on, let me scroll up just a little bit. He says Mr. Combs bragged about the power that he has and the fact that he beat up record executive Steve Stout, said he beat his ace. He laughed uncontrollably as he talked about busting him in the head with a bottle of champagne and a chair. Now, mind you, Steve Stout's mother came out recently and corroborated what Rodney Jones says, of course, saying that Diddy did these things to her son and that she, in fact, told her son that he needs to get out of the music industry because Diddy is crazy. And clearly he's crazy. He's a whole sociopath, as I told you a myriad of times. Anyone who laughs uncontrollably because they inflicted pain and harm onto someone else and caused injuries, yeah, clearly a psychopath. No remorse whatsoever, even years later. Okay? Now, then, on another occasion, Mr. Combs bragged about beating up General Reichsnitzer outside of a nightclub in Hollywood. Mr. Combs also informed me that only poor people pay taxes. He shared that it is a common practice in the music industry. Here comes the money laundering. He said that it's a common practice in the music industry to wire money from anonymous accounts overseas. Okay, hiding money that was possibly illegally obtained. All right. This way, if there is ever a need to take care of a problem, it would never be traced back to him. These accounts were in Germany. Okay, there's the money laundering right there. If these things are true, Diddy was telling on himself. And like I said, he probably thought his tactics of intimidation and coercion would not have anything spilled on him that Rodney would never tell, or none of this would ever be spoken about. And how foolish could he be? But see, that's the ignorance of a narcissist. That's the ignorance of someone who is so arrogant. And also someone who's used to getting everything they want and being able to pay people off for their silence. Now, Mr. Combs also shared that he invests in many shell companies, another tactic done by people who money launder, okay, and provides funding for businesses like Wingstop. Now, he says, I could share other things, but I do not feel comfortable putting them in this document. Now, let me tell you this. Here's the thing. Why would Rodney Jones say that he could share other things but didn't feel comfortable? Well, that is likely because some of the things that Rodney Jones witnessed, some of the things that he was coerced or intimidated into participating in, very likely are criminal activities. Okay, as are some of the things that Cassie likely was forced to participate in. Now, I told you days ago that it was not the feds who leaked that video to CNN or any of this other information. Foolish Nancy Drew keeps trying to paint the narrative that it was, but it absolutely was not, okay? I told you why it was not. The feds would not be leaking information. They could get fired. They could have consequences if the information they leaked specifically caused anyone to have harm done to them, okay? So that all being said, the feds didn't leak that video, and nor did they leak the information that CNN released as of late. That was likely, more likely than not, leaked by Cassie's own attorneys. And I told you that. I showed you the proof of that, okay, of how the feds wouldn't have done it. And I also showed you or told you what a former HSI case agent and person who worked for the Georgia GBI or for the GBI also said that they would not have done that. If anything, it would have been private attorneys, and that the feds would not stop a private attorney from saying these things or putting this information out there. Now, the reason I told you this stuff was likely put out there was so that it would show that Cassie was absolutely in fear of her own safety, that she was absolutely intimidated and coerced into doing many things. You see, because otherwise, Cassie could have been listed as a co-conspirator. Okay? Cassie could have been listed as a co-conspirator if, in fact, she engaged in any of the illegal activities that Diddy engaged in. And she likely did because of force, because of fear, and all of that. So you can either be a witness for the prosecution or you can be considered a co-conspirator, okay? In the eyes of the public, the grand jury, and all of that. So that all being said, that was very smart of them to leak that video. Because after we saw that, now we can't unsee it, after we saw that, we already know that anything that Cassie did that was not on the up and up, well, we see that Diddy likely made her do it. Okay, so that paints her as a very credible witness and paints Diddy as a nefarious thug, which is exactly what he is. Please pay attention. Now, so he has these shell companies and these accounts overseas, allegedly. Okay, he bragged about departed attorney Johnny Cochran's savvy legal skills and the ability to pay off witnesses through private investigators, okay, and other third parties. Now, at the end of the day, why is that interesting? Because remember when I reported that there was Diddy's private investigator who supposedly, allegedly sent this email to a TikToker, and then she spoke with him on the phone, and I played you the recording. Okay, clearly this is something that Diddy does on a regular. You see, this is how you know that Rodney Jones isn't lying about this, at least. I'm not saying everything he said is 100% true, but here's how some of this stuff is being corroborated. Because other people who have nothing to do with the case, other people who don't even know Diddy or the people accusing him are saying some of these things, as well as some of the accusers are saying the exact same thing, and they don't even know each other. Okay, and in some cases, they're not even represented by the same legal defense. So with that all being said, he bragged about being able to pay off witnesses through private investigators and other third parties. He bragged about having Jennifer Lopez carry the gun into the nightclub and all of that. So like I said, a lot of the stuff that Diddy was doing, you know, is or saying is the reason he's in so much trouble. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about what the hip-hop police had to say. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Multiple agencies are converging on this investigation, just by the way, so you know, okay, not just bi-coastal, but possibly even international. Didn't I tell you all that also? I told you all that's the reason Homeland Security agents went there and not just the regular FBI, because they're dealing with transnational crimes, okay? The sex trafficking, the illegal weapons allegations, and all of those things. And the thing is, just like the guy said in the video that you just watched, just like he said, some of the things in the lawsuit may not be 100% accurate or truthful. Some of this may have been done for money. It's what he's basically saying. But in the event that even if that is true, which I think the things are true, but even in the event if that is the case, that's why the judge would not grant the warrants for the raid. Neither of the judges would have granted the warrants for the search warrants for the raids just based off of allegations in civil lawsuits, because allegations is not proof. They would have to need proof of wrongdoing. They would have to have probable cause of wrongdoing to sign off on those warrants for those raids. And so they had that. Where did they get it? Well, like I said, I believe it was absolutely from an informant. Okay. Now, the hip hop police says Katie Cherkasky, a criminal defense attorney and former federal prosecutor. Now, this is what she had to say. She said, it's impossible to predict how long the investigation will take, but it's entirely possible that it could last several weeks to months or even potentially longer. The raids came as the music producer faces mounting list of civil lawsuits that allege abuse and sexual trafficking on multiple victims. And also that she would not be surprised. Okay, hold on. Federal prosecutors interviewed 3 Jane Does and a John Doe in relation to the trafficking, the assault, and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms related to Combs. So with that all being said, reports have indicated also that the federal probe into Combs could expand into to include investigating the 1999 shooting outside of the New York City nightclub. I'm telling you, Diddy's about to be R. Kelly. Please pay attention. And here's another thing. Now, here's why his mother could be in big trouble. Let's talk about it. Because as you recall, if what Mace said is true, Mace brings up Diddy's mom in response to $3 million debt claim. Following Diddy's claims that Mace owes him $3 million, the latter has shared a scathing response in which he mentioned the Bad Boy founder's mother. And so in a post shared on Instagram, Mace denied Diddy's request for receipts on Wednesday and suggested that all his business dealings were put under Puff's mother's name, Janice Combs. You all remember when I reported this? Now, how dare this ninja talking about he want receipts? Mace said in the clip, let's start with your mother, ninja. Your mother got the receipts, ninja. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts, ninja. Now, after mentioning Janice, Mace went on to reference former Bad Boy signees, the Notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, and Black Rob. He suggested that Diddy also exploited those artists, all of whom have since passed away. He said, you need more proof, ninja. Big ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you no receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you no receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with guts. I'm not signing, ninja, because I don't need the money. Okay? And so with that all been said, now let's not forget that a former bodyguard also said that Diddy had everything in his mother and his son's name.
So with that all being said, if this is true, the problem is if they find out, if they could prove that his mother knew about any of his illegal activities, if it is true that he was into sex trafficking, if it is true, because here's the thing, when he was having Cassie to sleep with these people, and I'm not talking about the sex workers, I'm talking about when they alleged that Cassie was made to sleep with people that he knew, other celebrities and all of this. Well, was Diddy paid for that? He likely was. You think he did it for free? He was likely charging, okay? And then it's already been alleged that he was taking some of these women from state to state across different lines. And so all of this is real bad for him. But here's the thing. Now let's just go to a money laundering case for anyone who may be confused as to how his mother could be in big trouble. Okay? This is a case out of Detroit, where the girlfriend of an organized California-based leader who laundered the drug money and lived lavishly off the proceeds was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in prison in order to forfeit her interest in a laundered home to the United States. And that's another thing. If they prove this money laundering that they think he's engaged in, they can seize all of his properties, anything that was bought with this laundered money or whatever, and that would include real estate, that would include cars. I mean, they could take all of his things, okay? Then it could be left broken and penniless and sitting in a cell next to R. Kelly. Now, United States Attorney Don N. Eason announced the sentence and was joined in the announcement by Charles E. Miller, special agent in charge of the Internal Revenue Service, and Orville O'Green, special agent in charge of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Detroit Field Division. Now, so 36-year-old Tiana White of Moreno Valley, California, conspired with her boyfriend, Maurice McCoy, to conceal his drug money by setting up multiple businesses and controlling access to the bank accounts. Now, if his mother, Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, did any of this, which has already been alleged, and if it's proven that she did any of this, she too could be facing charges. Now, members of McCoy's drug organization deposited drug proceeds in the bank accounts and then delivered hundreds of thousands of dollars in bulk cash to McCoy and White. Together, McCoy and White reaped the benefits of the drug trade, using the money to fund their lifestyle. McCoy purchased an expensive Porsche Panamera, and White bought a Bentley and Mercedes-Benz. They used one of McCoy's relatives. See, here's what they do. They get relatives, people close to them, to purchase things in their name. Okay, they used one of McCoy's relatives to try to conceal their purchase of a home worth more than $500,000 in Southern California. McCoy and White paid off their homes in less than 6 months by funneling cash from drug sales through a labyrinth of bank accounts. Okay, sound familiar? This all sounds like exactly what Diddy has been accused of doing in Rodney Jones's lawsuit, and as far as the former Bodyguard, as well as Mace, saying that he has things in his mother's name. So that's why his mother could absolutely be in big trouble. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. And at the end of the day, if anyone was acting as a money mule, not the drug mule that they allege Brendan Paul is, but a money mule, which is someone who transfers or moves illegally acquired money on behalf of someone else. Christina Coram, perhaps. Ethiopia Hatamaram, maybe. Okay, because weren't they wiring and transferring funds to these alleged sex workers? Okay, criminals recruit money mules to launder proceeds derived from different things that they obtain illegally and fraudulently. All right? So I'm just telling you right now, you see, this is why it's no way out. It's no way out for Diddy. And he's absolutely unequivocally, beyond a shadow of a doubt, going to be indicted. He's absolutely going to be indicted. Like I told you all before, you can indict anyone for anything. You can indict a ham sandwich. That's the running joke amongst prosecutors. Because you see, it is also one-sided, because Diddy and his team, they won't be able to testify when the grand jury convenes, and they're sitting there and the people are coming, you know, the people that are going to be subpoenaed to come in there and speak to the grand jury, all of his victims, alleged victims. Yeah, he and his team, they're not going to get to say anything. They can just sit there. Okay? No one's going to, he doesn't get to even have counsel, you know, to get up there and to tell him what to say or whatever in his own defense. So with that all being said, Michael M. says a grand jury has been seated to listen to evidence. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's already right there. So the indictment is definitely going to happen. There's no way out of it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's all I'm saying. And especially with a federal indictment. Okay. Especially with a federal indictment. And so with that all being said, let's go to what the former bodyguard said about these strange people popping up in hotel rooms with a Diddy. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Dorada says Honeycombs really thought he was untouchable. Of course he did. Of course he did. Okay. Anita said Diddy can leave the country to keep from being arrested to any place out of the country that doesn't have extradite laws. Right. But yeah, it's a little late for that. I don't think Diddy's going to go anywhere. Because here's the thing. When he is indicted, he's likely going to have to turn over that passport. Okay. And that indictment's coming soon, probably next week. Okay. That indictment's probably coming next week. All right. So please pay attention. Oh, it's right around the corner. I told you all a month ago that it was on the way, but now it's literally here. Okay. Please pay attention. Diddy's likely going to be indicted next week. All right. Now, with that all being said, and please pay attention because I did tell you all a couple of months ago that he would likely be indicted early June. You all remember that. Okay, early June, I told you all. So with that all been said, let's go to the footage. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Those allegations from Cassie were true about being abused. Bonds was named in that lawsuit. Cassie says he helped save her life. Combs denies the allegations. No charges. Roger Bonds joins us now. Thank you very much, sir.
How you doing, Mara? How's everything doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking this opportunity. Roger, do you believe that there is that there is substance to what we're hearing about Combs being involved in these heavy criminal activities?
I believe some of the things. I think some of it is a little far-fetched, but I think some of it is definitely true.
Now, when we get into what the sum is, you are in the lawsuit as saying in the car leaving the club, you know that Mr. Combs physically abused his girlfriend, putting hands on her way over the line, that you tried to stop it, but you couldn't. Is that all accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
And help the audience understand what you know was going on there.
Well, there's definitely times that he was very abusive argumentatively. He was very abusive physically. You know, that particular time that Cassie is talking about, they were at a dinner or a gathering on Sunset Boulevard. And Cassie was talking to a manager, and he got very upset about that. You know, he didn't want her talking to any other managers or doing anything without his say-so. And he got very abusive that day. And I jumped out the car and I ran up on him and I grabbed him. And I was like, what are you doing? Do you see where we at? Like, what's going on? And he got inside the car once I grabbed him up, and he realized where he was at. But some of the damage was done already. And I put her inside the car too.
The idea that he would be involved in running drugs, running women for the enjoyment of others, did you see anything like that? Did you hear anything like that?
Well, I don't think when they say running for others, I don't particularly believe that. You know, at the end of the day, he's Sean Combs, he's Diddy. You know, a lot of the things that they accuse him with, I feel falls under different kind of jurisdictions. You know, it's been plenty times we've been out the country. We've been in other cities, other states where you meet people at parties, you dance, you party, they go back to the hotel, and he has a private jet. So he says, hey, you want to come to New York? You want to come to LA for a week or two? And they get on the jet, and for a week or two, they might be there, and then he'll tell the assistant, okay, fly him back. If that falls under sex trafficking, then yes. But as far as like physically sex trafficking and making someone go somewhere, I don't believe that to be true.
That's the allegation. Cassidy makes that allegation in part also what she refers to as a freak-off, which is where Combs would make her have sex with other men. And then that allegation was expanded in some of these other reports that we've seen of, yeah, that's what he does. He would get women and make them have sex with other men, and that he would get drugs and traffic them, meaning bring them in for sale and use by other people.
Well, on that aspect, I'm going to say I don't know what he does actually in the bedroom. I've never actually witnessed anything like that. But I have seen people that I haven't ever seen in my life, guys that I've never seen before, go into a hotel room with them. And I know that only they was in the room. Nobody else was in the room. But what actually went on, or if they was forced to do it, or how much they got paid, I didn't know about that. But I definitely did see people go into private places where him and Cassie was at.
Do people who know the realities think Combs is going to get hooked on at least some of these charges? And why do you think his friends aren't coming forward to defend him?
Well, I think a lot of things that he's being charged with, a lot of things that he's being accused with is the norm. You know, I think that's part of Hollywood. I think that's a rich culture. And I think a lot of them is scared to come forward because this is what they've been doing for the last 10, 20, 30 years, as if it's just a regular thing. And by Cassie speaking up and finally standing up for what I feel she should have did a long time ago, it's given a lot of people courage to speak up on the things that they thought was the norm.
All right, so there you have it. There you have it. Diddy is going down. Okay, please pay attention. All right, it's all bad for Diddy. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, so they have already had legal experts talk about whether Diddy's multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio could be seized. Okay, they talked about that a few months ago, if you all remember. I reported on that. And like I said, I absolutely think that these things will be confiscated. Absolutely. Okay, so with that all being said, now that the feds are preparing a grand jury, Diddy's fate may be the same as R. Kelly's. Now, as the legal ramifications of Sean Diddy Combs' his mounting lawsuits continue to play out in the court of public opinion, things may soon be taking center stage in an actual courtroom. On Thursday, it was revealed that federal investigators were preparing to bring a handful of his accusers before a federal grand jury, signifying a potential impending indictment for the hip-hop mogul. According to CNN, potential witnesses have already been contacted by federal authorities. Individuals who filed civil suits against him, against the Bad Boy producer, have also been contacted and interviewed, though no one has officially or specifically been prepped for testimony. Some of those being questioned have also turned over evidence, please pay attention, that they feel is relevant to the case. And so that's another thing. Evidence that they feel is relevant to the case. That means new evidence, okay? So that goes to speak as to, you know, why those raids were enacted when they were, like I said, also, because not only is it likely that an informant came forward with information, but some of these people that have have accused him have also given new evidence that they felt was relevant. Now, additionally, the feds are also in contact with people shown on video recordings taken inside Diddy's homes. Now, let's talk about that, because here's the thing. Why do you think the feds are talking to people that are on those videos inside Diddy's homes? Why do you think that they're talking about that? Well, because here's the thing. I have a feeling, Queen, out of Britney, Trump, and Diddy, one of them will no longer be amongst us, says James. Well, here's the thing, beloved. That's a good point. Out of Britney, Trump, and Diddy, then one of them will no longer be with us. Well, here's the thing. I told you all 2, maybe 3 years ago, that I had a couple of dreams about Trump being taken out. How many of you remember that? One's in the chat. I told you all I had dreams, 2 dreams of Trump being taken out. I told you all that 2 or 3 years ago. And I absolutely believe it to be true. Okay? Y'all know I have prophetic dreams. And I predicted many things when I've been talking to you guys. All right? Please pay attention. I didn't mean to put that on the screen. Okay? Lots of people put ones. You all remember. Okay? Vince I am said, I remember. Okay? Darnell said, ready for the umbrella to tell his story. Okay? Now, somebody in the chat alluded to the fact that the umbrella man, known as Farnsworth Bentley, was possibly the informant. That's a good point. Could have been. Okay? So with that all being said, goes on to say, additionally, the feds are also in contact with people shown on video recordings taken inside Diddy's home. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I forgot my train of thought. So some of these people that are on these videos inside of his homes, I would love to know who these people are. I would love to know who these people are, but here's the thing. They're definitely going to talk, okay? When the feds have questioned them, and if they were specifically on the videos doing anything illegal, which Rodney Jones has already alleged that they were. Remember, he said there were many of them at these parties and stuff doing all sorts of illegal activities. Now, the feds don't want these people. They don't need them. They want the big fish, which is Diddy. So what likely will happen is these people will absolutely talk, because otherwise they'll be viewed as accomplices. Okay, they'll be viewed as accomplices in these crimes if these things are proven to be true, and if they were in fact participating willfully in these things while it was going on. And likely they were, if Rodney's allegations are true about the alcohol being laced with drugs and all of these things, and there's no telling what else was going on. Okay, so that's definitely why, one of the reasons at least, why they would be talking to people that were on the footage found in his home. Now, goes on to say they have not specified whether or not the recordings are the ones taken from the raids of Diddy's LA and Miami homes, or are they part of the evidence some of their witnesses have handed over. However, what is clear is that they're seeking to question individuals who show up in the footage as part of their investigation. See, these people are going to have to pick a side. You see, a lot of people are being silent right now. A lot of people didn't want to speak out. They didn't want to say anything. They wanted to just, hope that this would just pass without them being called into question. But that's not the case. Remember, I already told you how Ashton Kutcher was spooked. Ashton Kutcher said, do you all remember when I reported that? Ashton Kutcher already said weeks ago that he felt like he would be called in. Hold on, let me see if I can pull that back up. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Okay, here it is right here. Ashton Kutcher reportedly fears being drawn into investigation of longtime friend Diddy. Now, why would Ashton Kutcher be worried that he would be drawn into it? Because Ashton Kutcher was likely on those tapes, okay? Ashton Kutcher was likely on video footage in Diddy's home. That's why he would be afraid. I just want y'all to pay attention, okay? That's why he would be afraid, okay? So let's review this again. Now, in the intensifying SEX trafficking probe into Sean Diddy Combs, it has thrown a fresh spotlight on the rapper's longtime friendship with Ashton Kutcher. Kutcher, age 46, and Diddy, age 54, have hosted shows on MTV and have spoken highly of each other during their decades-old friendship. Now, the pair were both on The Late Show with James Corden in 2018 and gushed over how they met and became friends. So, at the end of the day, a source reportedly claimed on Monday that Kutcher and his wife, Mila Kunis, would stay quiet on Combs' legal troubles following the blow-up over the letters they wrote in support of Danny Masterson. Remember I reported on that? Danny Masterson got those 30 years for all the nefarious things he did and how they wrote the letters trying to, ask for leniency on his behalf, and people went in on them. Specifically, they went in on Ashton, who's supposed to be someone who is against the sex trafficking. Okay, has a whole foundation and organization that looks for traffickers. And the fact that he's tied to Diddy is not a good look. Now, there is no way in hell Ashton or Mila will be showing any sort of public support for Diddy right now. Okay, that's what the unnamed source reported. Regardless of Ashton's long history with him, he has distanced himself from Diddy since ex-girlfriend Cassie's lawsuit, and even more so in the wake of the new ones. Reps for Kutcher and Kunis did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Now, Diddy's SEX probe comes just months after Kutcher and Kunis faced an onslaught of backlash for publicly voicing their support for Masterson, a convicted rapist and former colleague, ahead of his sentencing hearing. Kutcher and Kunis and Masterson all starred in the teenage show, That 70s Show. Now, so with that all being said, hold on. Now, so with that all being said, Mr. Combs maintains his innocence and all of that, but Ashton Kutcher is still concerned, okay? He's very concerned. While I'm aware that the judgment has been cast on guilty while I'm aware the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of rape and force, the victims have a great desire for justice. I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. Now, that's what he said in September for Masterson. Okay, he sent that letter to the judge, and that was a big mistake. And see, it's not looking good because now you've been linked to Diddy. Okay, now you've been linked to Diddy and sex trafficking, and you had a whole foundation that was supposed to be used for targeting people who are doing trafficking. So yes, very upset and very concerned, I'm sure. I think the source is absolutely telling the truth. Now, anyway, goes on to say, it says that, however, what is clear, now this is back to the previous article that I was reading about them questioning people seen on the video footage, which would likely include Young Miami, possibly Ashton Kutcher, since he's so worried and concerned, and a myriad of other people, okay, who frequent Diddy's parties. I would say Jay-Z, Beyonce. I would say a lot of big name people would possibly be on those video footage that was confiscated from his residences, okay? They're not going to come out and tell us that right now, but that's likely the case. Please pay attention. And some of those people we'll never hear about, like I told you, like Lucian Grange, Clive Davis. I don't think we'd ever hear anything about them. Now, anyway, goes on to say that, what's more, the entirety of the probe covers accusations of money laundering, illegal drugs, and sex trafficking, the latter of which was most notably a factor in the federal racketeering New York against disgraced R&B singer. Racketeering case in New York against disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly, in which he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Okay, speaking in an interview for the bombshell Rolling Stone piece on Diddy's history of bad behavior, former federal prosecutor Elizabeth Geddes, who played a part in convicting Kelly, said, sex trafficking is certainly a potential component of a pattern of racketeering, or it could be charged on its own. Now, the indictments of R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, high-profile individuals who long evaded real accountability by law enforcement, offers prosecutors a playbook for a possible prosecution of Sean Combs. Now, with cooperating witnesses, video evidence, damning lawsuits, and a precedent for similar high-profile offenders, it seems as if Diddy's reign as hip-hop's ultimate bad boy may finally be coming to an end. Okay? So yeah, it's all going down. It's all going down, beloveds, at the end of the day. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Oh, no, I want to revisit something really quick. Now, let me just put this on the screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. I almost forgot.
Of what did happen with R. Kelly, folks used to come to the defense. There were a lot of people came to the defense of R. Kelly, and only to find themselves on the wrong side of that story, the wrong side of history. See, we've had this evolution in this country around sexual assault. 15 years ago, if representing women, and I've represented a lot of women in sexual harassment, sexual assault claims, the women were shamed. They were often humiliated. They would often lose their jobs, their reputation, their position. The man was always believed. Now, not always, but more often than not, the man would be, somehow come out the hero. And Me Too, we've had a whole paradigm shift. I mean, it's a shift in the way these cases are treated, the way women are treated, and no longer is it the case that powerful men are given the benefit of the doubt. We are now willing and ready to hold them accountable.
What specifically shifted the paradigm? Is there anything, any incident that stands out in your mind that changed the course of history to the standpoint that what we're living in right now, where things have changed so drastically and favorably, I might add, because this needed to happen?
Oh, the pendulum needed to swing, right? It was horrible, absolutely positively horrible, what would happen to women. I think social media had a lot to do with it. Women being willing to come forward and tell their story. There's something powerful in their strength in numbers. You get one woman telling her story, it's easy to dismiss one person. You get a multiple number of people, you can even dismiss them. But look at Bill Cosby, a case like that. There were tens of dozens of women that came forward and had a story about Bill Cosby, drugging them, sexually assaulting them. It's hard to dismiss that many people. And that's kind of what's happening now to P. Diddy. Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, we thought that was it. And in many ways, it just opened the floodgates for
others. It did,
because
she filed the lawsuit. The next day it was settled, but it didn't stop other allegations from coming down the pipe within a matter of days.
And people get emboldened. Now, some people say, and one of Sean's lawyers is a good friend of mine, some folks say it just creates a money grab. Folks who are out there just trying to grab money and, take advantage of this opportunity. I don't discount that. There are false allegations that are made, no doubt about it, but overwhelmingly, women who come forward and make these kinds of allegations, they know what they're going to face. They know the challenges going against someone as powerful as P. Diddy or...
All right, please pay attention. Okay, so with that all being said, like I told you all, everybody can't be lying. All right, everybody can't be lying. Okay, above all that drama said, they lied on Bill. Come on now. Oh, yeah, absolutely they lied on Bill Cosby, okay? Absolutely they lied on Bill Cosby as far as I'm concerned. Hold on. Belinda said Bill Cosby, all those women was 1 trillion years old. Okay, and so with that all being said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And also don't forget that if you're not following the backup channel, you absolutely should be. And for those of you who are following the backup channel, I'll be going live on there shortly, probably in the next 30 to 40 minutes. I'm about to post the link as soon as this broadcast is done. So please have your notifications on. And I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. All right? And let's look for Diddy to be indicted next week. All right? Till next time, beloveds. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got